Welcome back to another episode of the Navvai Shift. And yeah, today's guest is Shivi Krishna. He's business head at Origon AI. And from what I understand from the conversations that we've had, Shivi, is that, artificial intelligence has become, one of the biggest conversations in business. But behind, the headlines, most organizations, they're still relying on, someone's infrastructure. Every prompt, every workflow, and every piece of proprietary knowledge is being processed, through third party platforms that businesses don't own and fully control. But, with Oregon AI, you guys are taking a very different approach. And yeah, I'm excited today to delve into it, or to give people more insight, right, in terms of what you guys are doing. And, feel free to, jump in and, give us your own slice of the cake rather than building on top of someone else's technology. What you guys have done is basically developed an end-to-end AI platform, and from there inference and engine and speech infrastructure through their own kind of GPU cloud. And I kind of want to get more insight into, I've given a brief intro, but it'll be good to get intro into yourself, Shivi, from your words, your amazing words.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thanks for those kind words. And yes, it is always enjoyable to speak to you. And
Yeah.
my energy just reflects what I see from you. So both of you, both Daniel and Josh, yeah, absolutely love it. Okay. So yes, I am head of community and partnerships at Oregon AI. Effectively, this role with me is to take AI to various enterprises and solutions and then build with them. Yes, Oregon have a we are I mean we have an opinion too on this, how AI should be. Yes, we have seen rapid progress on an AI across the last 3-4 years, that was since ChatGPT comes. But AI is not just ChatGPT. We have been talking about AI for 70 years now.
Yeah.
When Turing invented his Turing machine, and that's when the whole idea of intelligence started happening, right? We were talking about, and then 50 years now, I think neural networks, and then machine learning, and then so on and so forth, and all that. Only recently, that when Gen AI has come, that we have started talking about AI as a buzzword with everybody is, and some people are scared, some people are big, some people are very happy, some people don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, where we come from, where Oregon is, like rightly said, are a strong votary of that AI should be owned, not rented. What we mean from them is that it's your intelligence. You don't your business process, your operational history and operational knowledge that you have gained through as a business. You should not be exporting these out to frontier models. You should, and then renting those services back. You should rather own it. Let AI learn and develop out of it, and own that model, and own your infrastructure. That's what we firmly believe in, and that's why at Oregon we have owned the whole stack. We written the whole complete stack, right from the bottoms up, right? So the GPU, the inference engines, the models, the audio stacks, the thing, right up to the agent builders and the complete stack, which we own. Nothing is rented. There are no upstream API dependencies. Why? Because this is the part of our belief system, and this is where we think the value will be most for the enterprises. I don't discount what OpenAI and what ChatGPT is doing, or what Claude is doing, and on what Google is doing. They are fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. They're very capable models. But what comes out of it, these are the frontier models are trained on the world's data. For most of the business processes, you don't need them. And while you're exporting your process, data to them, you're training them on your data, which is a side effect, not a good side effect. And I'll later tell you how some interesting examples of how that side effects have happened and created those things. But anyway, coming back to it, this is what we are. We are an AI company which thoroughly believes that we can bring down the barriers for what private AI is, and we can bring it to enterprises across the world. That's what we are.
Thanks for that introduction, Shivi. And I did want to touch on something you did say earlier, which was AI should be owned and not rented. So what are the actual advantages of actually owning your own AI infrastructure rather than it being rented?
First and most importantly, an AI that you own learns from your own data. So it understands you much better than what a frontier model could be. Right? Yes, a frontier model has access to more knowledge, more training, more stuff which is there. But then would Does your simple process require that? Does your invoice matching require that? Does your simple document processing requires that? Does not. So you keep things confined. You train your models on your own data. You own your own infrastructure. Preserve the... See, what we have done? Let me come back to... Just take you back a couple of decades back. What we did then was we outsourced our operational processes, right? To whom? To SaaS companies, right? Before SaaS was there, ERPs were in-house. ERPs were running on our own servers. They were custom developed for each company, right? And then SaaS came, which like SAP and Oracle Financials and Dynamic 365. They all went to the SaaS model because we could serve everything from the cloud. We could have multi-tenant architectures, everything from the cloud. And what happened was now, instead of software following your operational workflows, you were following what the software defined for you. Sometimes in the garb of and I'm not saying discounting that, but let's say consultants like McKinsey and also, these are the best practices. Great, fantastic. Yes, there are. Most of the places there are. But sometimes, like every organization is different. Every organization is exists in a different ecosystem or a different time space, right? And in a market which is different, with different cultural and economic and social, factors. That and most of the times, and what we have seen and I've been working last so many years with customers, is that there is always a compromise. It doesn't fit. Doesn't come naturally to you. What would an organization? They have to say that, okay, we do it because SAP says so to it. This is how the process is done. We have done that, and it has also. But doing this, outsourcing our workflows and our operational logic to the SaaS system had its own advantages. It came with economies of scale. The capex was lower. The opex was manageable, and you pay for what you were using. All this was great. Right. But that is great for your data, for your operations, your process, which is great. Your data was also secure. But once you put your intelligence over top of it, your inferences, which you have built in your own people through years and years of experience and knowledge and know-how. Now that if you put in outside, then you're sharing the core thing that makes you, what defines you as an organization.
Yeah.
Just give you one example. Just if there's an insurance company who had their own insights of how to evaluate a claim, and that was done by, let's say, or how to measure risks, and even though there are actuarial formulas and all that, and their actual team would be doing it, but they will still be deciding some kind of proprietary knowledge in the company. Now, imagine you put that model on your Excel sheet, exported that to Claude. Claude learns from it. Then the company 2, company 3, company 4, company 5, everybody then gets the same insights. Period. Your insight is good. Your proprietary knowledge is gone.
Yeah.
That's long term. The other part is infrastructure.
Yeah.
Right? The cost which companies are now seeing, and the headlines that you're seeing today of, runaway token cost, runaway cost of using AI, that is where you can control that. If you own the infrastructure, if you own the networks, if you own the inference, you own the cost and you control it.
Yeah, I feel like you bring up an amazing concept in terms of the AI infrastructure and owning it. I feel like it should be the same with our data, because of course there's third-party companies that own our data, and these third-party companies are making income from our data. So I feel like there should be a data infrastructure where we have our own data and where we have complete control of it, and we're able to set it on to whoever we want to set it on. Because at the moment, it's loose, it's scattered. We have no control of it. You just had my brain thinking, and I thought I think it was a pretty cool concept to think about.
I agree. I mean, we all have this. We are paranoid about where and who has captured our data. And there are so many companies who are promising you that they will wipe you off with various databases and stuff like that. I mean, they make money, but that's true. But that's the bargain we took. We signed up for cloud services everywhere, right? For our phones are cloud services. Our software, everything that we use today, is most of it's coming from cloud. Sorry, not cloud. Cloud. CLOUD, cloud. So everything is on cloud today. And yes, you are beholden to that. And it's difficult to migrate because you don't even know where what it is, right? You no longer have the discipline to organize your own data. And and therefore you don't know it. Now it is somewhere else. It's great.
Yeah. We're going to get back into the AI side of things, right? But the beginning of your career was pretty fascinating. I know when we had previous conversations, right? Like a lot of people that, have gotten into the AI space, right? Your career didn't necessarily start with engineering or, computer science, but instead you spent 2 decades in the advertising space. So
I'll correct you this. I am a computer engineer. I started as doing ERP solutions for a couple of years while I was very young.
okay,
Then got
okay.
into advertising.
Then you
20
got
years
into
into
advertising. Okay, got you.
20 years
Okay,
into
nice.
advertising.
Yeah, okay,
and then back
nice.
into the. So yes, it's like a yes, but yes, a majority of my career has been into advertising. You're right.
I love
I
that.
loved it, and I loved it while I was at it.
We're gonna touch on it, right? Because like advertising, I feel like a lot of the principles have stayed the same throughout the years, right? But of course, there's different methods of kind of like how you tend to advertise and put yourself out there, whether if you're an individual or if you're organization. And I know there's a lot of people tying more into like personal brands. Your 20 years of being in advertising, what that kind of teach you about business and the way you communicate with customers?
Okay, this is a interesting question, and that's a good thing. I'll tell you what, advertising taught me to think in terms of be aware about, rather be, of counterintuitive or counterintuition. Now, I'll frame it. If you're aware, the media, most comes is that people come with a brief, right? They give you a brief, and as an agency, you come up with a creative solution out of it. Yes, that's how it is. Brand managers are very meticulous. They would they know their product, they know their service, and they would say, this is what we want, this is my intent, and this is what the brief is. But but what you should be very aware of, and that's what my years has taught me is sometimes the answer is not so simple not there in the brief. Sometimes the answer is completely counterintuitive to what the brief says, and that's remarkable. That's remarkable because you understand the human side of things. And what also advertising also taught me that, look, humans are not rational. We don't make rational decisions all the time. Humans are emotional people, right? Which also means that, and I have done a lot of B2B advertising where company. So also when people say B2B is all rational, no, it's not. Everything has an emotional pull to it. Everything has an emotional pull to it. An amazing part of it is that all this translates into the medium may be different, but AI is the stuff. We are with AI, we are bringing in more emotional quotient into the whole structured, data-centric, or how do you call sanitized world of corporate decision making. Right? The corporate decision making is going to get more, how to say, with AI. That's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And it's kind of interesting when you kind of think about it, because at the end of the day, like as you said, like with humans, like we are emotional beings, and it's just like, how are they gonna actually build that emotion into the logic of the AI? Especially even when you look at a lot of companies' cultures, no cultures are the same. So, and I think that's even a more important reason why you should actually own your own AI, because like you said, you can actually build in that company culture and the company emotions as well.
Yes, AI can actually help you do that, because AI can look at AI works with lots of non-structured stuff. Structures, when we started putting things into data, used to strip away all unrelevant information and say only relevant information is data, and that we can put into a table or a structure or something like that. Right? AI just broke that myth. Today, everything is data. A piece of document, a piece of poetry, a piece of an essay, or a movie, or a clip, or an audio clip, or a video clip. Everything is data today, and each of that data you can take inference out or intent or meaning out of it. That taking out that meaning is the power that AI has brought into the whole digital landscape, and that can be leveraged both as normal humans. We do it today. When you press that button on your Gmail and say that improve my mail draft, and does go on and say no, this is too curt, let's make it more friendly. What are you talking about? Make it warmer, more colder. I mean, we're talking about emotions, and then who are you talking to? You're talking to your that's person level. And then same thing, just scale that up to an organization level. How much responsive an organization can become if it understands the emotions behind what its customers motivations are. If it is able to map those decisions which you currently miss, and then you end up spending millions and billions of dollars in doing market research and stuff like that, right? If we are able to capture those terms as far as customers are concerned, whether those customers are individuals, the customer, I'm not saying invade privacy, that's a different matter, but there's a lot of intent which is there in terms of buying behavior that is already there, that those signals are already there. So able to capture those signals, able to capture signals, how you, even with B2B, how you win tenders, where you do, where what succeeds, what doesn't succeed with organizations, to where your relations work, where it does not work, various different geographies of the world. You have different ways of doing business. How you do business in US, Americas, or how do you do business in Europe. It's far removed from how you do business in Asia, for example, or how you do business in the Middle East, right? There are different cultures. How you do business in Japan or China. They're all different cultures. And all that information, which currently lies in individuals and individual heroes inside organizations, can be captured as institutional knowledge, and the organization as a whole can benefit. That's the power, that's the promise that I see. All right. And that is why I always harp on, don't export this information, this treasure trove of knowledge that you have as an organization. Don't export that.
And even on the topic of actually, you talk about different jurisdictions and different cultures and different countries. I know that you've built a GPU infrastructure across, I think, Singapore, Mumbai, Frankfurt, New York. So how does actually owning your own infrastructure across multiple regions actually benefit your customers and enterprise
That's a
customers?
fantastic question. Now, see, traditionally, what has happened when we say private AI, what it would mean to a purchase or an IT head, that you get your own hardware, right? Get your own, and that means expensive GPUs that you need to put in. Get your own data scientists and people to build your own AI. Now, that's where we come in. We have built these neo clouds across the different regions to serve our customers, and we are building them across, completely private, right? And what we have also done is put together the whole stack, which is already there, the enterprise AI stack, on which either we together with organizations, with our customers, build those solutions, or the customer build them. So together so what comes out to be is that you get the same benefit from an infrastructure which is tuned for private AI for you. So anything on Origon Cloud is private to our customer. We can offer hybrid deployments. So the customer owns the data, but our GPUs are on our data centers, does inference there. So the customer doesn't have to invest in expensive GPUs. Again, data is not stored, so it's completely encrypted, so nothing gets leaked out. It's as good as you're owning your own GPU, just it is on a different place. Or on-prem, take the same hardware and put it on, let's say, for banks or very highly regulated industries, financial companies, or for healthcare companies, where you need to have data residency right there, or an inference residency. Even with that, inference can go out, because that's not critical, because nothing is being stored, but data gets stored in that case. And lastly, we also offer, so on-prem is there, hybrid is there, where inference is there, Origon AI Cloud is there, and finally we have put it on Azure, put it on AWS, or put it on Google Cloud as the customer. So that's the flexibility of our model. So we offer all these kinds of different kinds of deployment options, where on all this, whether you're deploying in your on-prem or on Google Origon Cloud or on the VPC, you still own your stuff. You just have the infrastructure at different locations, and you'll probably be paying at different levels of cost, which is it's a different. That's up to the how you compute and where your interests lie.
Yeah. And you know what, Shivi, right? There's been obviously a lot of people that we've spoke to, and I think, content that we see out there, and I feel like many companies claim to have unique technology, but why do you believe removing dependency on third-party APIs creates such a meaningful competitive advantage, not just for Oregon, but for businesses using your platform?
I'll say the number one is reliability. If somebody breaks, you have only one party to fix it. I cannot say, we will not go back and say that, look, okay, that API has broken and we can't do anything about it, right? So it's one stack. We have written it from scratch. We know what it is. If it breaks, we fix it. That's one part of it. Second is we offer 99.999% SLAs, the guarantees that we do. We're not on uptimes, security, safety. We can we can guarantee those things only because we own the stack. We know it inside out. We know there is no leakage. There is nothing which is dependent on something else. That is the reason. That is the reason owning it. And plus, of course, lastly, efficiencies, optimization. We control the flow of how it is going. We control which technology to use, which communication protocols goes there, which transport layers goes through. So all this, and then finally the thing about latency. especially in voice applications. Look at this way: your bot is a voice bot. You send something to it. What is it travels to the one server, and then from there it probably, if you're using 11 labs, it goes to 11 labs and comes back, and then look at the latency. It's all gone to a toss. And if you have a customer speaking to somebody on a voice bot, and if that latency is there, the customer, you already lost your customer, you lost your audience, right? That is where we said owning that voice. For us, our voice runs on that same place, doesn't go out. It's Oregon's voice. That's the whole sub 300 millisecond, guaranteed. That's the latency. We guarantee that. So, which is where we feels more natural, controlled. So everything, in every aspect, it leads to a better user experience overall, in terms of how you're using it, in terms of how it feels, more natural, in terms of safety and security, in terms of uptime. So that's where the whole owning the whole stack is, because you know the whole thing. And why do we do that? It's not that we just we did it. We started on a whim. We tried using other frameworks. We tried because we are not a startup. We are almost a 20-year-old company, and we are not using AI for the last 2 years. We have production running AI for the last 5 years now, right? It's not just 2 years thinking that. So we have tried everything. We have seen all the frameworks, and when we saw that what it takes to be enterprise ready or enterprise compliant and tick all the boxes is just not there in one or many, and we will not create a mishmash of many stuff. Therefore, we went ahead and rewrote the whole stuff, the whole stack. We wrote the whole stack for us. So that's one of the primary reasons behind it. And yes, it has numerous advantages for our customers and flexibility for us to deploy.
Yeah, Shivi, you spoke to me with a bit of logic, and you touched on a bit of emotion there. You was very close to making me buy. Gotta be honest.
I hope. I wish it. Fantastic.
But I love the way you piece things together in terms of the words that you use. It's like, of course, yeah, we're on the podcast, but essentially you are giving insight into what you guys do. But of course, the way it's coming across is authentic. This is almost like, the conversations you are having with organizations to give them insight into what it is you guys do and the differences and the uniqueness. And I feel like it's super potent. I really do. So
yes,
the question I have, right, is when organizations compare, paying for, commercial inference every single month versus running AI privately, how does that comparison actually look financially?
Okay. A number of different factors here. So when you say paying for inference, you have to figure out whether are you paying for just the GPU compute, or are you paying for the model, or are you paying for APIs or access to all that stuff. So there are multiple stuff here. It's not a simple solution of that. But like I said, the more you own, the more cost you control, right? Which is where I'm coming down. If you are dependent on third-party hyperscalers, you do not have that control over the costs. And then you are limited to budgeting token by token every month. So you're becoming a part of the token economy, right? I would say is take the token out of your equation. Bill it as AI is infrastructure. Pay for it as infrastructure, the way you pay for electricity.
Makes sense.
I was going to say,
makes sense.
That's the thing I like about you, Shivi. Like what Josh was saying, it's like the analogy and the way you kind of actually break it down, it makes so much sense.
No, because that's the simple way. I mean, I could go on and on about the complexities of it, but then I'll bore the hell out of you.
Yeah. I always think when you are explaining something, keep it simple as possible. There's no need to use these complex jargons where people don't understand. I think it's just a mismatch when it comes to communicating. But again, Shivi, just tying that on the fact that, when you are delivering, when you were explaining to myself, it's easy for me to paint the picture in my head and I just get it. So it's nice.
So Shivi, we were essentially talking about, the AI, it being private and the kind of financial implications. But could you elaborate on, the importance of having your own private system in compliance and data sovereignty and just how important that is?
Oh, yes. It's fantastic. The data sovereignty is an important keyword here. So a lot of regions and a lot of jurisdictions, EU also has its own data residency compliance. Middle East has its own data residency compliance system. India has it. So, and that is there. So one part of it is, it's not that hyperscalers are not offering that. Yes, it is. But with private AI and with Origon, we meet those compliance requirements. We also meet the regulatory requirements for safety and security, privacy, SOC 2 Type 2, GDPR, any security protocols, everything is on AES 250. So safety, security, the breach safety is all taken care of. What private AI also helps is because you have one stack, so everything all the compliance, everything, all the audits can be done in one place. And then something comes not just because of private AI, but because what is Origon itself is that we have come down to this where every agent action needs to be audited because models are black boxes. You don't know what's happening inside. So, right. But agent actions are audited. And this is where Origon comes, because Origon has full and complete audits available for each agent action. What we call it is observability is there. So you can, for every time a session runs, you have a complete rundown of logs of audit. And these are immutable logs. You cannot, and tamper proof. So this gives the confidence not only to regulators, but also to companies that what is happening, we have a trace of it. Every agent decision is traceable. Therefore, if something goes out of the line, you can correct that. You can take corrective actions.
No, nice, Shivi. And Shivi, honestly, this has been such a fascinating conversation, right? Because obviously we've explored your journey from, 2 decades in, advertising to, AI, why Oregon chose to build their own AI stack from the ground up, the growing importance of, private AI, and what we've learned from deploying enterprise AI at scale over the last, 5 years. And it's clear to say that, AI is no longer simply about building smarter models. It's just becoming about ownership and ownership of infrastructure, ownership of data, ownership of intelligence. And I think
intelligence,
yes,
that's important.
100%.
Own your own intelligence. Don't outsource it.
100%.
That's important.
And businesses that think, carefully about those decisions today will likely be the ones, leading tomorrow. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. And I just had one final question before we wrap up, right? So for every CEO, every CIO, technology leader listening today, what's one piece of advice you would give them before making their next AI investment?
Okay, right. That's a good question. So I will follow for something what my CEO and my founder, we always discuss that. We are good friends. And he's a passionate technologist. Elish Tyagi, the founder of Origon. All that you see Origon comes from him. I'm just the guy who's taking you to the market. And I always say that what should a CEO, CIO, CTO evaluate on as far as AI? Look, first and foremost, AI is not the answer for everything. Cardinal rule. Counterintuitive, yet yes. Boardroom pressure, you want to put AI somewhere, you want to put AI in your corporate story that you're using because the whole market is asking for it. Great. Be smart and intelligent where you're employing AI for. And be mindful of what you're doing it, because AI the marginal cost of AI will not fall down to zero like software is. AI is energy intensive, so the costs will always be there. Of course, they will bring down. And we are also in the process of, building infrastructure to bring down the cost of inference for AI. Yes, it's true. But more importantly, you should understand where it should be, where you're using it. And also don't do things in piecemeal. I do this process and then we do this process and then we do. It's time for organizations to think out of the box, take a whole of the organization view, understand what can be optimized, right? Where AI can use it to optimize the issue, work on a plan and work on a roadmap and go implement it.
Yeah.
And it's also true that every 6 months, something new will come. So it might seem that your previous investment has gone to waste. No, it's not. This will all be incremental. These improvements will be incremental and they will all add on to it beyond. And yes, so this is all going to add on to that stuff. But at the same time, with a whole of the organization viewpoint, you will be able to better control and better predict the benefits that you're going to come out of it. And obviously, same goes with the costs.
Shivi, those are some wise words. We're most certainly going to take that on board. I know our listeners, they're going to take that on board as well. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on the Navvai Shift. This has been an episode that will stick with us for a very long time, but I know we're going to continue conversations after this and continue our relationship. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. I feel like I've learned so much more about yourself and Origon AI, and especially like the mission behind it. And yeah, it's just been a fruitful conversation. And for those that are, wanting to find out more information about Origon, we're going to make sure that the link for the website is in the description. So your LinkedIn page, don't worry, you won't receive any spam, but you'll probably receive some love from, the Navvai family shift, the Navvai Shift app. Yeah, thank you again, Shivi. It's been a fruitful episode. Guys, there you have it. It's been another episode, and we'll catch you on the next. We'll catch you on the next one. But thank you so much, Shivi.
Thank you, Daniel. It's a wonderful conversation with you. Wonderful half an hour of 40 minutes we spent together. And I love to do this. We'll probably do it more often whenever you have.
So certainly will. But thank you so much, Shivi. And guys, we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
Absolutely. Thank you.